Okay, hello, welcome back to this Crusader Kings 2 playthrough. We're in Ireland here, currently getting all sorts done. I've had a little mooch around, things we can possibly get up to, and there's some really interesting opportunities possibly coming up, mostly related to those English princes who seem to have found their way into my court. If we scroll down here a little bit, one of them I made my spy master in a previous episode. But it turns out, upon closer inspection, where is he? This guy here, Prince Godwin of England. It turns out he has two brothers. And when... Right, let's see. Is it William the Conqueror? Is in charge. William the Conqueror is the King of England. And when he became the King of England, the current princes, or three of them at least, all fled to my court. That was Prince Godwin of England, Prince Edmund and Prince Magnus. And all of them, we've got a couple of princesses here, and then a couple of little princes, but these three guys, one of them my spy master, one of them is, they're both courtiers. And they both have a strong claim on the Kingdom of England, because basically William the Conqueror came over, he kicked out the current monarchy. So these guys remain princes of England even though they're not currently in power. So they're in my court and they have a claim. Now anyone who's got a claim and is also in your court, you can press that claim. So that's your excuse to go to war. You can say, you know, one of my guys, he's got a reason to fight, he's going to do it. But when you're pushing a courtier's claim, you've got to be quite careful, because you can end up fighting a big war, a big battle, and for example, if I pushed Prince Edmund's claim on England, I could help him fight because he's my courtier, so I'm the guy who's in charge of the war. And then if he wins, he goes off and becomes King of England, and I get nothing. So you've got to be really careful, but this is where marriage comes into it. See, claims pass down to sons if they're pushed in war. Basically, this guy here has got a strong claim which can be inherited by a successor, but you can also get weak claims. And weak claims can sometimes not be inherited by a successor. They actually vanish on succession. But they only vanish if they're not pressed in war. And that's where you can get this. I mean, you can do lots of reading up on claims and stuff like that, but that's where you can get some really interesting things come from it. For example, you might, if you have a weak claim, you might end up fighting wars with the intention of losing. If a guy has a weak claim and it's lost on succession, you can, as long as you fight that war, imagine it strengthens that claim so it can be passed down. So even though you might have a claim and you might think, well, I'm nowhere near powerful enough to do that today, but I might do that in the future, you might have to start a fight just to, it's almost like trademark and copyright law in a way. You have to fight just to prove your intentions. But what you're actually doing is making sure that that claim is inherited, so maybe your son or your son's son will actually be the one who really goes for it. But anyway, that's getting down a little bit of a rabbit hole there. At the moment we've got three courtiers who all have this huge, strong claim on the Kingdom of England. Now, there's no way I can go to war with the Kingdom of England. This is just not going to happen. I mean, I'm this, and you know, the Kingdom of England is huge. But I might be able to wiggle my way in some way in the future. I'm thinking, you know, quite far in advance here. So I'm thinking, how can I get those claims of my courtiers passed down to me? Now, what you can do is whenever claims are passed down, whenever dynasties are passed down, basically the man, as is usual in this kind of game, the man is always the guy who's in charge, and his sons and daughters are of his lineage. So you can have daughters and you can marry them away, but when you marry off a daughter, she's essentially leaving your lineage because she will become the bloodline of her husband. But there's a difference. You can set up a marriage and you can set it up matrilineally, which means that under those circumstances the bloodline goes down the female side. Now this can be done, but most of the time no one will agree to it because no one wants to give up their bloodline. But here we have something that's a little bit different. Because these courtiers These guys are my courtiers, and again, I'm not actually sure how they ended up in my court, but you know, that's the way it's happening. That's what we're going to play. Because they're sorry, I keep flicking screens quite a little bit here. Because they're my courtiers, I am actually in control of who they marry. That's up to me. So normally, when you offer a matrilineal marriage to someone, say for example, if I had a daughter, I could swing out here. Let's go to France, for example. You find a guy who's not married, then you go, right, I'd like to arrange a marriage, and then you go between him and my daughter, for example. Ignore this for now, because this would obviously not happen. Most of the time that says yes, you click matrilineal, everyone just says no. No one wants part of it. But when it's my courtiers, I have the power and I decide who marries who in my court. So whilst normally my spymaster, for example, Prince Godwin of England, with this strong claim, normally there's no way. If he actually was still resided in England and I tried to marry off one of my daughters to him, and I said matrilineally, he's just going to say no, because I will lose my dynasty and you'll absorb me. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to take it. You're trying to take my family's bloodline away from me. Not a chance. However, he is now my courtier, so I will tell him who he's going to marry. He's gone from a prince to all of a sudden being, you know, he's my lapdog, really. Now, in an ideal situation, what I would do here is I would marry him off to my daughter matrilineally. When my daughter and him have kids, preferably a boy, that boy would then have a strong claim under my dynasty. I could then engineer him to be my heir, so then when let's get this straight, when I die, I become him, and suddenly, bang, I'm King of England. In theory. There's so many more things, like firstly, how am I going to start a fight with England and stuff like that. And there's also other things to consider as well. I mean, I don't have any daughters. That's something I don't have. I've got 4 sons, but I don't have any daughters, and my wife has died. But there are unmarried women, or girls rather, in my dynasty. So what I might decide to do here is, okay, I'm never going to be able to fight England, not for a long time. But I want to hold on to these claims. I want them to be mine. So, for example, I could go, right, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to one of these princes and I'm going to arrange a marriage between him and there's 2 courtiers here. But I have... that's marriage. Ah, yes, that's of course, because they're actually... Yeah, this is terrifying. They're actually... what I'm going to do is I'm going to arrange... Let's see... there he is, Godwin, and I'm going to decide he is going to be betrothed to one of my kinsmen. She's of my dynasty. So we've got Cacto. I think you remember in a previous episode, my cousin had a little spate, boom boom boom, with kids. He had 2, and I could say, look, okay, my cousin, she will be my cousin's daughter. Anyway, she's of my bloodline. So I will marry her off. Matrilineally, he can't say no because he's my courtier. I'll tell him that. And all of a sudden we've got a position here where this strong claim on England is suddenly in my bloodline. It's not me. And this is where it gets tricky because I'm not sure how this would work. It's not me. So it's not my direct, it's not my heir. It's not, you know, it's my uncle's kid. So I don't know how I could merge those together in the future. Or it could be a case of my uncle on that side of the family, his line becomes King of England, not me, but they would be part of my blood, so my dynasty, if you like, would be getting a boost. So like I said, I'm pretty, when it comes to these big marriage kind of setups, I'm still quite new to it. I'm still trying to figure out, you know, how to make best of this situation. I mean, someone who's a better player than me might be looking at this right now and going, "Oh my God, what are you doing that for?" But I'm not going to know, you know, how much everything's screwing up until I actually try it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try. I've got 3 shots here. I've got 3 princes, each with a strong claim on England, and I have got 2 kinswomen. They are small. She is 3. That's why this isn't a marriage. This is a betrothal, which means it's a promise of marriage. Betrothals can be broken. I'm not sure what the knockoff effect of that is. But I'm basically going to marry these 2 princes, or betroth them, to my cousin's kids. Now, bear in mind that these girls will not come of age until they are 16. I think it's 16, I believe, when they can marry. It could be younger, but I'm pretty sure it's 16. Anything can happen in between them. These princes might actually end up running off and, you know, getting killed or whatever. So yeah, this is pretty tricky, but this is what I'm going to do. So, but you can see straight away, proposed that Cacht and Prince Godwin get betrothed matrilineally. As a courtier, Cacht would gain 7 prestige from marrying into House Godwin and 400 from marrying the relative of a king. My prestige, she would almost have the same prestige as me, just because she's marrying so high up. So we don't really know what's going to happen here. My spy master, I know he has a get married ambition, so maybe this will make him happy. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we've married him. Oh, we've betrothed him, if you like. Let's just see. I want to set up here. There you go. Now he's now betrothed to Cacht. You can see there. And his brother. Let's see. Who's the one's age 20. The other is age 21. Okay, so we're going to take the younger one. This magnificently bearded chap here, and we are going to arrange betrothal between him and the other one. Now she is 1. She is literally a baby. So he's probably not going to be too chuffed about that. He's going to have some lonely nights for the next 15 years. But that's where it's going, buddy. You know, that's also going to be matrilineal. Obviously, again, huge prestige boost for my kinswoman here. But there we go. That will happen because I'm the dad. I say I'm the daddy of this club. I say what goes. So, and I've still got 1 prince left, I believe. Let's see. This guy. Yeah, this guy right here. He's still under my charge. I've got this. I'm going to use him as a spare, basically, just in case I don't actually know what I'm doing here. I've got a spare. So if I have, you know, messed up triumphantly from betrothing those 2 kinswomen off, I still have 1 spare to possibly figure out what to do with him. Okay, so we're going to go with that. We've just got a little message up here. Our knowledge is creeping up. What I think this is technology creep. I'm not going to go into this too much at the moment, mainly because I don't really get this to the full extent. I'd rather read up on it a little bit more before actually. Age 31. Aliel de Wicklow died after a period of illness. My courtier. Oh, that is sad. He died completely alone. Absolutely nobody there. Okay. Where was I? Right. Yeah, technology rather. Sorry. I don't know enough about this. I know that technology moves and spreads automatically. Now we've just had a couple of technologies increase in line state. I think what that is technology creeping, because now it's all part of the same. Yeah, and you can increase these once you get enough technology points and stuff, but I'm not going to go into that right now because, like I said, I don't fully. Technology in this game it's tricky because during the period technology didn't really move much. There was nothing. There weren't for a long time in the Middle Ages. There weren't any real technology advances going on. Everything was kind of still for quite a while, and to be realistic, because the game, this technology kind of reflects that. There are little increases, and as you get up here, this may change a lot, but don't expect to sort of unlock something and then suddenly get an awesome new unit that you can trounce the world with. I don't think it's quite that impactful. But anyway, we're still fabricating claims. This is taking a while. We have been going at this for quite some time now, and although we've got the new Chancellor, he still hasn't actually managed to. Oh, he's getting on a little bit now, but yeah, he still hasn't actually managed to do anything. I think when you turn 50, you get the badass old dude dreads. I've got 3 years, and I'm going to have some funky silver going on here. That's the next thing. I think I need a new wife. Now I've got that spare prince. And he has a strong claim. Now, if I get a new wife, preferably one who is a little lusty, perhaps, if I can get a daughter, and I can marry her matrilineally into my family with that strong claim of England, that could be something I might want to keep my eye on in the future. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and arrange a marriage here. I'm getting on a little bit, but that shouldn't matter too much. Try and get someone who's good, but also we really want to have some kids. And we really want to have a daughter. But also, because she's my wife, obviously you do want it to be actually quite good. Let's see, I think you can sort by rank. So, who's this? Oh god. She's, she does not look happy. She does not look happy at all. That's an amazing portrait. Sorry, where were we? Right, let's see. Midas touch, zealous, greedy, slothful. Oh god. Not a lot going on here. We really need someone of age. You know, really need someone of age. Can't really afford to wait too long. I'm already 47. That doesn't seem too old, but you know, it's not too young either. So, 'cause if we're going to start having kids, we want it to be. I mean, for example, she's 2. So if I was to get betrothed to her, then you know, obviously I've got to wait quite a few years. I could well be dead before she's able to bear kids. However, the one thing about this is I don't have to worry too much because I've already got my 4 sons. You know, my line is strong. This is just, I would like to have a daughter, but it's, you know, it's not vital. This is just something I would like to have, and I don't think I have to worry too much about my wife here. Let's see, 12. No, that's not going to cut it. It's, chaste, not a chance. Chaste. Where's the lustful ladies? Where indeed? Okay, we've got. Ooh, yeah, she's deceitful. Not a good trait for a wife. Not a good trait at all. Oh, she has a low intrigue, and she's lustful, zealous, slothful. It's not great, but she's an inspiring leader. So she'll probably boost my martial skill, and she's a brilliant strategist. I can't help thinking I can get someone better. I don't like the thought of having a wife who is deceitful. That's just going to come back and get you. It's inevitable. I mean, you can literally spend hours on the screen. You really can, poring over it. But sometimes, you know, since we're in a pretty good position already with the family, it'd be quite a good idea to just sort of have a little bit of an experiment. Yeah, we're getting too far down the ages there. Let's get back up. We want to start at least 16. So it's got to be someone. It's got to be someone up here. Ambitious, wrathful, slothful. Gosh, she's got them all. Charitable. Wow, she is a mixed bag. You can also get alliances from getting married. Something to consider. I'm not too heavily focused on alliances at the moment, but proud, cynical, great eminence. 17. You would gain an alliance. She's Castilian, so she's Spanish. Intricate web weaver. Brave, gluttonous, trusting and arbitrary. 19. Midas touched. Princess of England. Right, okay. Right. Oh. Okay. I wonder if I can marry a Princess of England. Would that... Yes! So she has ended up... This Princess of England, obviously one of her 3 brothers are in my court. She has ended up in the court of the Count of Northampton. So that's where she went. Her brothers came to Ireland, she went here. He's loyal. He seems quite happy to let me. He probably thinks there's absolutely nothing I can do about which one was it? Oh, he's got both princesses of England there because they had 2. Yeah, there was 2 of them. So one of them is deceitful. One of them is greedy, slothful, gluttonous, zealous. God, she's horrible. But she's not deceitful, which could be pretty good. Ambition to get married. Gaither? Gaither. Right, okay. See, I am going ahead with this, but without really knowing what I'm getting here. Like I said, propose that Earl Murchad and Princess Gaither get married. As a relative of a king, Murchad would gain 7 prestige from marrying in the House of Godwin and 100 for marrying a relative of a king. So I'm going to get a huge prestige boost. Hell, what the hell? Let's go for it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so off we go. We'll get an answer back in a few minutes. Ooh, I'll just pause it there. Did I set my ambition to get married? Yes, I did. So any second now, that's going to tick in. Okay, here we go. To the most excellent Earl Murchad, your wisdom and mercy are legendary. I accept your suggestion that Earl Murchad and Prince Gaither get married. Fantastic. So Earl Murchad and Gaither have got married. We can collect a royal aid duty to pay for the ceremony. So I can get 26.44 gold. I've got 278. I've got quite a lot of money here. Quite a lot of money. I think I got a lot of that when my father died. You inherit his money. Go back down. No people respect. I'm going to go for the prestige. I like the prestige. It's always good. Okay, Earl Murchad of Dublin fulfilled the get married ambition. We need another one. We can go back to Marshall. We've completed it once, or we can have an ambition to have a daughter. I wonder. This is funny. I wonder if this is just pure chance. You know, you can say I want to have a daughter. I'm going to do that because that is precisely what I want to do. I like that I can actually toggle through here between my wives. So that was the one that was, and this is the one that now is. So let's see what she thinks of me. She likes me because I fulfilled her marriage wish. I have strong diplomacy. Prestige plus 6. Now you see my prestige is quite high now, 634. I'm starting to get quite well known, if you like. So, and that affects everything. So my prestige is actually helping. I'm getting plus 6 opinion just because of my prestige. Marriage ties, short reign, but I don't think much of her. Which is funny because I set up the marriage, but I didn't necessarily set up the marriage because I wanted her. I set up the marriage because I wanted what she has. Now, yeah, he basically thinks she is a complete slob. And he's not too happy about that. But she has a weak claim on the Kingdom of England. Now, to come back to what I was talking about weak claims before, I'm going to let the game run away here while I'm describing things, because I'm not going to go into too much detail about little events that pop up anymore, because I don't want to spoil too many of them, and you know, there's a lot of them, and they can pop up all the time, so you can discover those for yourself. But what do we got here? We've got weak claim on the Kingdom of England, right. It's when you hover over a claim, it tells you exactly what will happen when an event kicks off. So for example, weak claims, how does that work? On succession, weak claims are given to children who are not second or third in line of succession. Weak claims, let's get to that in a second. Weak claims can only be pressed against female rulers if the claimant is male. Regencies, titles already being contested in a claim succession war, or titles the claimant is second or third in line to inherit. So this is interesting. Weak claims are they're kind of tricky. Obviously there's a lot of rules about them, so you know, you got to think about that. But we're going to come back to that later. At the moment, my ambition is to have a daughter. Now I don't know if that helps, if you select that as your ambition, if that somehow magically helps the game, you know, roll higher dice for daughters. I'm not sure, but that's my ambition anyway, so I'm going to set it. And what do we have here? I think, my liege, I write to you with bad news from Dublin. My efforts to squeeze some extra taxes out of the population have met with resistance. Right, okay, we had our steward here, my son, collecting taxes in Dublin, and the one thing happened that is pretty crappy. Can happen. It's quite a small chance that this can happen. Let's see, it's actually a 10% chance this can happen, so that's actually quite big, that the peasants can kick off. So what's happened there? Dublin gets high taxes until the 20th of November, giving the following effects. Local revolt risk has gone up by 5%, and the mayor and the bishop, their opinion of me has dropped by 10 for a year. So that's not too fantastic. If we go into here and check out my vassals, yeah, he's irritated, as is he. They're both irritated. Thankfully my vassals are still pretty much on board, but that has annoyed them. Thankfully it's only going to last for a year. It's something we can handle, and our local revolt risk is now up to 7%, which is quite high. But hopefully, you know, if something does crop up, we should have the facilities to deal with it. Our knowledge of trade practices in Dublin has increased to level 2. Right, so economic trade practices now increased to level 2. Yeah, like I said, we're not going to go too much into that for the moment. We still have this message up here: unlanded sons. The following adult sons do not hold any land. Well, there's not really a lot we can do about that because there are only 2 counties here. I could give one away to a son, but I'm not going to do that because that would make him just as powerful as me. So we're just going to let things tick over here. We've got a new wife. Hopefully she'll get pregnant. And we might have a daughter, just so we can see. And then we need to figure out what we're going to do with this weak claim. Now, it is obviously a claim on England, which is... The more I think about it, the more ridiculous this is, because there's absolutely no chance that I'm actually going to be able to fight any wars. But maybe I'll get a powerful ally, you never know. By this time, I would have expected to have fabricated some claims on Kildare. This guy is, despite changing him out, is taking quite a while. But we're just going to have to see what happens there. In the meantime, let's see if we can... Is there anything kick off? When will we? June. Aha! Here we go. Fate smiles upon me. My wife Gaita is pregnant. All good. It's probably because of my lustful trait there. That can't help. Plus 20% fertility. My lovely young wife Gaitha has expressed her boredom several times in several ingenious ways. The court is boring, hunting is boring, embroidery is boring, her ladies in waiting are boring, and she wants to make the boredom go away. Okay, so I can say fine, I'll humour you. Earl Murchard of Dublin gets For the Sake of Love until the 18th of June 1074, which is only given the following effect. Everything gets rubbish. She likes me more, but I lose a ton of stats. Honey, I have obligations to take care of. Princess Gaitha befriends a courtier. Right, so I can either say, right, I will take time out of my day to help you be less bored, or I can say, look, babe, I'm busy. You know, I don't have time for this. I'm a big, you know, stomping duke, or might be in the future. We don't have time to do this. So, but that says Gaitha befriends a courtier, so that might mean she gets close. Her relation. I guess I get 25 relation for a year. I'm going to do this. I'm going to see what happens there. She might run off with a courtier. That could be bad. That could be good. I don't know. But by kicking it off and letting us see what happens, you never know. Something interesting could come of that. So let's see what else. But what we were doing there, we were trying to see if we can kick anything else off. We could have a feast. Let's have a summer fair. It's always good to have summer fair. There's some more. Options here for intrigue. Invite a holy man to court, invite a noble to court. I think these are right. Now, this is interesting. This is where things sometimes happen that you don't have control over, but your character decides they're going to do. For example, here, I am starting to think Hare might fancy me. She's a courtier. She's married to my cousin. Is this... Yes, she's married to the man who I arranged the betrothal of the 2 daughters for. His wife, he's 51, she's 23. I think she fancies me. Apparently, I am starting to think that Hare might fancy me. Now, I think this is true. If normal characters, you can go, okay, or you can go, I'm not interested, you know, that's going to get me into a lot of hot water. But I'm lustful. My character is lustful, and I think sometimes that can remove certain options. So I have no option but to make a move. Here, I will go to Lady Hare's chamber. So it is quite possible that I am now starting an affair. Let's have a go. Oh, here we go. I went to Lady Hare's chamber and gave her a good tumble. It's good to be Earl. Earl Murchard of Dublin falls in love with Hare. Okay, so this is... Wow. This is where things get really interesting, because I now have a wife who is bored and is possibly getting very attached to a courtier. In the meantime, I have started an affair and actually fallen in love with my cousin's wife, the daughters of who I have married off to princes of England. I have no idea what's going to happen here. This could get really messy. She is now officially down here on my card. She is now my lover. She absolutely worships me. She get plus 75 because she is my lover. I absolutely and completely idolise her. So this is pretty intense. There is quite a messy love triangle forming here. Actually, it's quickly becoming some kind of love quadrilateral. But anyway, the peddlers are loading their wares. Fantastic. Okay, we didn't get a lot of options there with that summer fair, but we do walk away with 20 prestige. We've got a lot of money here. This is quite nice. I've got a lot of money rolling in. Whoa! When did this happen? Okay. Yep, this must be... Yeah, okay, this doesn't always happen. Just because you've got a high revolt risk. No, it's a raid. Sorry, for a moment there I thought, remember before we got the Dublin was going to be, had a higher revolt risk. I think it still does, it's got a revolt risk of 7. I thought we'd had a revolt here, but that is not the case. In fact, these are more raiders. We're getting raided again. Chief Olaf. That's not the same guy, is it? I can't remember if that's the same guy who raided us last time. It could be. Nevertheless, we are going to put short end to this. Like I said, these guys, they are raiding. They don't have enough 729 attackers against 1734 defenders, so they can't siege. But they are looting. The little toggle there says the army is set to loot. So we're gonna get rid of those guys, but we're gonna call it there on this episode. So we'll get back to that in the next one. But yeah, strange family goings are about to become afoot, and I have no idea what's going to happen. We've got some interesting betrothals, we've got some certainly interesting bed hopping action going on. It's all getting a little bit cousins with cousins and wives, and oh, this is going to get messy. AKA, this is going to get more fun. So see you next time. Take care.